Few detectives have cast a shadow as large as Columbo, the blue-collar homicide detective whose irregular methods have influenced entire generations of police procedurals.
Who are you?
I'm just another cop. My name is Columbo. I'm a lieutenant.
Make no mistake, this seemingly bumbling LA cop is as sharp as they come.
Isn't it funny how people are different? Now me, if I found my partner dead, I'd never think of opening my letters.
His rumpled raincoat, incessant cigar smoking,
Do you mind if I smoke?
and idiosyncratic behavior.
Yes, Lieutenant. Is there something I can do for you?
Oh, yeah, if you have a moment.
Were key traits to deceive the killer.
I said suppose it was you. I'm not saying it was you, sir. No, I was just thinking out loud.
You know you're an audacious fellow.
Lulling him or her into a false sense of security.
I went in for my wardrobe, and there was a bed, and they had suits on it. Winter suits, summer suits, gray suits. And I said, anybody could wear these. Everybody remembers what Charlie Chaplin wore, right? And I was looking at all this stuff, and I said, it's not distinctive enough, and for some reason, I'll never know why, my raincoat. I said, maybe that would work good.
You're a bum! Your stinking cigar butt in this silver antique dish!
I thought it was an ashtray.
Falk was a chain smoker, cigarettes. Didn't like cigars particularly. Falk liked it as a prop, but if you watch the shows, you know, Peter doesn't match. He gets so involved and into it, even though he's a consummate actor. So it's like a magic show. From the cuts, it's here it is. It's like David Copperfield is involved here. But what are you gonna do? He wanted the damn cigars, he's got the cigars. That one suit, the raincoat, that was Peter.
As played by the late, great Peter Falk.
It's very hard to explain why a character and a show to be around 32, 33, 34 years. My God, who would have dreamt such a thing? I'm just so grateful to it.
I wasn't going to ask a question, ma'am. I just wanted to return your bowl.
Lieutenant Columbo, whose first name is never stated, was the brainchild of writers Richard Levinson and William Link, who helped popularize the inverted detective format.
Our goal was the same, and we were best friends. And we wrote easily together. I mean, writing is always difficult, but there was no effort. Hammerstein said, a writing collaboration is exactly the same as a marriage except for the sex.
This was opposed to the whodunit, in which the audience is just as clueless as the investigating detective. In Columbo, however, the first act introduces our killer and the crime in detail, before focusing on our hero's attempt to unravel the plot. Critics dubbed this a howcatchem.
Oh my.
The show would break this structure only twice. No Time to Die and Undercover were based on novels from Ed McBain's 87th Precinct series.
You have to go undercover. Who's gonna do it? You?
No, him.
You?
And he doesn't even have to change clothes.
The show would break all kinds of TV rules, even eschewing a regular opening theme and employing a wide variety of composers.
Tchaikovsky.
Well,
Perhaps you'd rather hear some rock and roll?
I wouldn't say that, sir.
After 2 pilot episodes were produced, NBC decided to give The Lieutenant a regular series, which aired from 1971 to 1978 as one of the rotating shows of the NBC Mystery Movie. Due to its immense popularity, it'd be brought back sporadically on ABC from 1989 to 2003. At the end of the show's run in Columbo Likes the Nightlife, the series totaled 69 installments.
And I think we all owe him a big hand.
What set Columbo apart was its cinematic style and format. Each episode was TV movie length, allowing the writers to thoroughly develop their plots and characters.
Steinmetz!
Ah, dear old friend, Mr. Steinmetz. That's marvelous.
This limited run of longer episodes also afforded the casting of familiar faces as the killers, and Columbo's roll call of scumbags might be the most impressive roster of guest stars in network history. Among them were William Shatner,
I am terribly sorry, Lieutenant. This has been a dreadful experience for me.
Leonard Nimoy, Faye Dunaway, Roddy McDowell, Janet Leigh, Robert Vaughn, Donald Pleasance, and Johnny Cash.
You knew I was coming up here.
I knew. Then I didn't know. And then I knew.
The talent behind the camera was just as impressive, with Levinson and Link hiring craftsmen who could inject a film-like quality into the series, including the likes of Jonathan Demme, who would go on to helm The Silence of the Lambs.
When did you first suspect me?
Well, as it happens, sir, about 2 minutes after I met you.
That can't be possible.
This policy would pay off spectacularly with the first episode of Season 1, Murder by the Book, which was directed by a young up-and-comer named Steven Spielberg. Just 24 years old at the time, Spielberg was making a name for himself on the Universal lot where Columbo was filmed. Universal head Sid Sheinberg had a vested interest in the Wonder Kid.
The lore has it that as a young man, Steven was sort of the Phantom of the Opera, haunting a lot of the Universal Studios. He would literally get on the lot one way or another.
Having been impressed by his work on Rod Serling's Night Gallery, in which he had directed Hollywood veteran Joan Crawford.
I want to see something. Trees, concrete, buildings, grass, airplanes, color!
Joan Crawford is the first professional SAG member I ever directed in my life.
This was followed by an episodic assignments on the series Marcus Welby MD, The Name of the Game,
I've been expecting you. It was inevitable.
and Owen Marshall, Counselor at Law. Impressed by his cinematic style, Levinson and Link would soon invite Spielberg to Columbo. But the show's star had other ideas.
Unless you stop in your partner's research.
They're trying to scare you.
Exactly.
Falk was overprotective of his character and developed a reputation for being difficult behind the scenes,
Murder every week.
often getting into heated arguments with the creators.
You don't really believe all those foolish things you say, do you?
Perhaps understandably, he was apprehensive about giving the episode to someone so young.
Right.
It took 2 months to convince Falk to let Spielberg direct,
Thank you, Lieutenant Columbo.
My pleasure, Lieutenant Lucerne.
and only on the basis of his latest efforts, an episode of the short-lived series The Psychiatrist. Falk would soon realize his fears were unfounded.
Oh, you're not intimidated, huh?
Oh, come on, Ken. You're forgetting that I'm one half of the world's greatest mystery writing team.
Written by the NYPD Blues' Stephen Bochco, who was Emmy nominated for his work Murder by the Book, not only started the series proper, but might have started it too well.
Quick, class.
Being a perfect entry point for audiences and setting a standard which future directors would have to maintain.
So I look back at it and say, you know, I was so hungry back then. I was so ambitious. I was so excited about having been given this chance. It was a great experience for me to start out in TV that way.
Oh, I'm sorry, Ken. Lieutenant Columbo, Mr. Franklin.
How you doing?
Ken Franklin, played by Jack Cassidy, is one half of a mystery writing duo responsible for the hugely successful Mrs. Melville novels.
See, if Mrs. Melville were on this case, oh, she'd be leaps and bounds ahead of you by now.
Is that the lady in the books?
That's right.
Unknown to the public, Ken merely handles the PR for the team, while Jim Ferris, played by Martin Milner,
Who is it?
actually writes the books. Jim wants to end their partnership after the next Mrs. Melville novel to pursue more serious work.
I give you our divorce.
That's not really a divorce.
Oh, sure it is. Come on, let's be honest.
And Ken is not too happy about his lavish lifestyle going away.
50 million copies.
Come on, Ken. You're making me feel guilty. All I want to do is write on my own.
The two possess a mutual life insurance policy, prompting Ken to commit bloody murder. He lures Jim to his remote cabin on the pretense of a truce.
Ken, it's fantastic. The house that Mrs. Melville built.
And coldly shoots Jim while he's on the phone with his wife, Joanna, played by Rosemary Forsyth.
This will be the last time that I can...
Jimmy? Jimmy!
Lieutenant Columbo is assigned to the case and immediately begins to pick holes in Ken's story.
Why do you think that they left your partner's body out there on the lawn like that?
Especially when he returns Jim's body to Los Angeles and dumps it on his own lawn in an attempt to make it look like a gangland shooting.
It was left as a warning.
A warning?
Of course. It also proves my theory about it being a professional killing.
Ken has the police and Joanna wrapped around his little finger, but there's one serious snag.
I know.
Store owner Lily Lysenko, played by Barbara Colby,
Mr. Franklin!
witnessed Ken taking Jim to the cabin, and she's all too ready to blackmail him for a much-needed payday.
Very well, Lily. How much for your silence?
Naturally, she ends up just as dead as his former partner. Murder by the Book is archetypical Columbo every step of the way. The first act is in no hurry to get to our detective, and for all intents and purposes, Ken is our lead.
What woman could resist this setting?
Not very many, I promise you that.
Columbo only gets one scene to himself in the entire episode. We almost share Ken's exasperation at Columbo's presence.
Now, if you'll excuse me, Lieutenant.
Yeah, listen, unless you just want to take a second to know how we're progressing on your partner's list.
As he slowly gets closer and closer to that all-important confession.
You gotta admit I had you going for a while now, didn't I? Yes, you did.
Cassidy, who would play the killer 2 more times in the series, is a delightfully over-the-top villain.
And now, sir, I'm gonna kidnap you.
Imbuing Ken Franklin with an arrogance so nauseating.
Tell me something. How long have you been a lieutenant?
We can't wait to see him taken down.
No. My pleasure.
Murder by the Book is replete with Spielbergian touches the director would continue to refine over the course of his career. From faces abruptly entering frame, to tight 2 shots, to long lens photography, to the distinctive lighting and blocking. He even incorporates a few knowing in-jokes, like naming one of the Mrs. Melville novels after the first Columbo pilot, Prescription Murder.
Prescription Murder. A Mrs. Melville thriller by James Ferris and Ken Franklin.
Spielberg and Bochco slowly tighten the noose and build to a hugely satisfying conclusion, which isn't showy, but sees all the pieces slot comfortably into place.
Well, come on, get to the climax, Lieutenant. You're talking to a writer.
Am I? That's not what I heard. And that's the key, that you're not a writer.
As good as the writing and direction is, however, it is Falk who leaves the lasting impression.
Can you prove that?
Yes. Not with the witness, because you killed the witness.
So much of what made Columbo great was down to the star, from his customary glass-eyed squint to his circumstantial speech and non sequiturs.
You mean the murderer?
Exactly.
No.
A lifelong cigarette smoker, he also suggested the cigars as a fitting prop. Even his wardrobe was Falk's, with the signature Mac having been bought during a particularly volatile thunderstorm some years earlier.
Right. Yeah, I don't want to forget my cigar. Good day.
Falk would win 3 Emmys for playing Columbo, and he has left a lasting influence on the TV detective, which is still being felt today.
Yeah, it really is. It's terrific to win. I'm trying to figure out some way to appear humble.
Oh, and just one more thing. Whatever happened to that Steven Spielberg fella? Based on the strength and critical acclaim of his Columbo episode, Universal would offer him their prized TV movie, Duel.
For Steven, the little screen was an interesting canvas, and obviously he painted on it very well, but he knew that this screen simply wasn't a large enough canvas.
An ingeniously stripped-down thriller, which would become his cinematic calling card. The rest, as they say, is history.
That's been a very great pleasure, sir.